Now, what could be scarier than someone under a sheet to scare you for Halloween? Peekaboo! That's all about the Benjamins, baby! What's going on, guys? You got to tune into the Watch Podcast today. Road episode 44, Night Shift. Let's go! And don't forget the baby oil. Let's go!
I'm actually hearing something banging on the door. I'm hoping I'm going to catch this son of a bitch. Bear with me, guys. Okay, I'm back. Door was open again. Hello, security.
See, I fucking no.
Looked at it like, okay. I'm like, okay. So I hesitated, so I just do something because I didn't know what to do, you know.
At all.
What's going on, guys? You guys are tuning into the Watch Podcast. Ooh, spooky, huh? Man, how'd you guys like that? Was that good? Was that scary enough for you guys? I mean, it's Diddy, right? I mean, it's got to be scary. Got him! I got you. If you guys reacted to that, leave a comment at the bottom and say, "Hey, I got you." I want to see how many people I got. So today we're on episode 44, Night Shift. Now, many of you guys, if you guys work the private sector, private security, a lot of your jobs are gonna be based off of nights. Now, why do people work nights? People work nights because it aligns with their schedule a little bit better. They're able to do more things during the day. They're able to do a whole lot of things, but it comes with so many challenges when you guys are working night shifts. Now, I've been working night shifts for like the last 12 years, I believe. My son's getting ready to be 12. So I've worked nights for the last 12 years. Now, I can say that it's not easy, and it honestly, every day I work nights, it never gets better. I used to think like, oh, if I just let my body adjust to it, it'll get so much better. Wrong. A lot of challenges comes with people that are working night shifts. Now, some of the challenges would be obviously not getting enough sleep during the day. Maybe you have children, you're married, or you have prior engagements throughout the day and you just didn't get time to take a nap. So then when you get on shift, you're sitting there, you're doing all this, slapping yourself, gauging in some more energy drinks. Eating like crap to keep you awake. And I can say that it actually does the complete opposite, keeping you awake. Too many energy drinks you're gonna get that crash effect. You're gonna crash. If you're really, really tired, I would say get some black coffee, get some black coffee. If you guys, other ways to be able to stay awake, is obviously, the problem with a lot of you guys just sit there. You guys sit in your cars. You guys just sit in your guard shack. You guys just sit. And working nights is lonely, man. Lonely out there for a pimp. Your mind wanders. You start thinking about stuff, and sometimes you even overthink. I don't know about you guys, but I mean, I'm a thinker, and so sometimes I start overthinking. I start thinking about, oh my God, I knew it. But really, it was just me overthinking. And it gets really lonely, and sometimes working nights can lead to depression. Because essentially our bodies are not wired to work, to be up all night. Okay, this is not how our bodies are designed. And some people it works for, and some others it doesn't. Um, I know, when I started my company, I said, "Night's watch." And I said, okay, we're gonna dedicate our work to nights. And some people are cool with it. Some people are like, yo, I don't like working nights. And it's honestly, working nights is not it for everybody. A lot of times it's slow. A lot of times we have very little to no interaction. Um, and it's hard staying awake when you're on shift. I think I've caught some of my own guards sleeping on shifts. I don't think I did. I've caught my own guards sleeping on shift. Like I said, it's not for everybody. Not everybody is wired the same way. I can tell you, for me, you know, from past experiences, like I can never fall asleep on shift. Um, One, I'm armed, and I would hate to be sleeping on shift while I have a gun attached to me and other equipment, and I hate to be disarmed while I'm sleeping. That would be one hell of a nut kicker if someone disarmed me while because I was sleeping, and I was caught off guard. So that's why I don't sleep, and when I'm on shift, I even tried to. I was like one of my clients was like, "Hey, if you want to take a nap or something, you can." I'm like, "Oh hell no! You don't give me that green light, and don't tell any of my people that either." Was working out there out there in a freaking agriculture field. Yeah, it's really easy to fall asleep in an agriculture field. I'm not even gonna lie. But yeah, me personally, I can't. Working nights is you know it can be scary for some people. You know, some people are not. When we think of nights, I mean, it's gonna be well, it's Halloween, right? And people like to show off their scary costumes in the dark. Why do you go to haunted houses? Because you go to haunted houses in the dark. It's scary that way. You can't do it during the day. So like, look at that guy. Hey, man, I see the latex coming off right here. I can see your skin. You're black. um, so it does. A lot of times, when at nighttime is used for spooky time. No one goes trick or treating during the day. They go trick or treating at night. It's spookier, scarier that way. And I don't know what it is, but when it comes to security, but we always get stuck working the scariest places. And if you guys have worked some pretty gnarly places, drop a comment at the bottom. I love to hear it. I've worked a few scary places during my time as security, and a lot of these places are abandoned. A lot of security guards will work in abandoned places at night, and to ensure no persons are intruding. No one's entering. All this that, but it comes with you know sometimes you hear about horror stories. Sometimes you hear scary stories. Um, and My first assignment when I first started security was they sent me to the cotton factory. Yeah, I know. Go figure, right? I said that's racist. Send me to the cotton factory. How dare you? Um, but but it was so scary. And when I would arrive there at 10 o'clock every night, um, I'd go down and it was pitch dark. You know, I had a flashlight that I wasn't able to carry. They said my flashlight was too big, could be used as a weapon. Big old giant mag light. They said it wasn't approved, so I couldn't carry my flashlight with me on shift, which I did when my supervisor didn't show up. But the first night, I had no flashlight. I had a phone, and if you guys remember phones, man, dude, shoot, back in 2005, phones. I had a phone, and it had a very, 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 very dim light. Can see a whole lot. And so my first night there, my first job ever working security, I get stuck working at night in a cotton factory, and when you got up, when you it and you got up, you're upstairs. You know, you're on floor level, and then when you're going inside, you're going downstairs. That's where all the offices were at, and they gave you this metal thing, right? It's your guard tour, and you would go around and you'd hit points, and oh my god, it was so scary. There's some points that I was too afraid to hit. And so my supervisor said, "Hey man, we noticed that you kind of missed this one spot." I'm like, "Yeah, dude, it is scary as hell. Like it's complete darkness. It was an old factory, you know, and yeah, it was just scary. And then the more I worked there, the more comfortable I got. You know, I'd get in there, I'd start practice. I'd start preparing my lunches before I go work, and I had a ball. I was on the phone. I was on. I logged into the internet, so I was on MySpace all night. So my night flew. But when I first started, it was very scary, and I didn't really know what to expect. I thought someone was gonna just pop out of nowhere. You know, that's how nervous I got working those places. Um, and and I think a couple years ago. So okay, during COVID, there was this facility. They called the Kingston Healthcare Facility, and I want to say like maybe 100 people died during COVID. The staff there wasn't taking proper precautions, so they had I'd probably say maybe 60 deaths that occurred there, and so the state shut them down and said, "You guys can't operate. You guys aren't taking care of your people." So they kind of boarded it up. But obviously, when anything becomes vacant, then you start dealing with the vagrants that break in. And this particular facility had medical files of people's names, social security numbers, all kinds of stuff. So they needed security. So they called me and said, "Hey, we hear you're, we're looking for security overnight, for 24 hours. Looking for 24-hour security." I'm like, "All right, So what we did, we went to go. I went every time I go check out a property. Every time I get called about a property, I go check it out myself. I want to make sure that it's something that we were able to do. So then I went over there, drove around, and I got on foot, and I walked around, saw some homeless people. They saw me, and I was in uniform, and they just started running, and so I walked inside, and it was freaky. You can feel the spirits inside there. It was like 100 degrees because in the summer, if I remember, it was in the summer when I went to go check it out, and when I walked inside, it was cold. Like it wasn't like the AC wasn't on. It's just a bunch of windows were open, and there's 180 beds. So it's like a big old hospital that's abandoned, and they're just stuffed there. It was so scary. And I hear it. Check this video out. I'm gonna slow it down, but check this video out. And this is me. I toured the whole building. Scary. Check it out. So as I'm touring this, and I am freaked out because imagine knowing that 60 to 100 people died on those beds, those hospital beds. And you can see that the homeless took over. A lot of them had their own little room in there. That's cool, good for them. And it was and it got scarier and scarier. And it wasn't even dark. It was still light out. And then I said, okay, let me come back one more time. And I came back at night, and that was freaky. Okay, freaky. Oh, yeah, that was scary. I don't think I'll do that again. Um, and so I also worked cemetery. We still have a contract with cemetery, and the one of the buildings was not operational anymore. They have to tear it down. But way back when there used to be not way back when, but a couple years ago there was a morgue down there, and they had bodies down there, and they had a big old giant freezer. And I walked in there, and it's dark, no one was supposed to be in there, and they asked if I can go inside there because there's a light on. So I walked in there, and I was freaked out. Freaked out. Like, that was like one of the scariest moments. Um, Even though it was during the day, but just knowing, like, inside myself, like, that that there was that there were people that passed away, that were in there, freezers. It was like, it made me, like, it was one of the most uncomfortable experiences I had, having walked through this, knowing what I knew. Um, and if you guys go on the internet, there's so many instances of horror, of cases, of haunting cases, involving security guards, where a security guard was somewhere, and they were working a night shift at an abandoned asylum. They were working a night shift at a cemetery.
I'm actually hearing something banging on the door. I'm hoping I'm going to catch this son of a bitch. Bear with me, guys. Okay, I'm back. Door was open again. Hello, security.
They're patrolling the cemetery. There were, certain like old schools or vacant buildings. They were patrolling these, and they were here all night, and they just, they can hear these noises. In this one particular case, where this guy was overnight guard, and he had to go and check there was always an alarm going off. He'd have to go check to make sure everything was good. And there, here, check out the video. It's so scary when you see this guy. He's going through this, and he sees all this stuff. The doors are closing on him. He sees, like, this little, like, a little boy, kind of. And then it's freaky, and it's like, and you're like, no way, someone put it there, but you never know.
Just some background on this area: is the oldest part of the building, and of course the area that gets the most activity. So I really hate going down here. It's really spooky, and it's really cold all the time. So that's one of the alarms that was going off. What the fuck? What the fuck? Oh my fuck! Just doing my rounds, checking out the place. I was asked to document any spooky activity going on. I don't really know what's been happening lately, but what the fuck?
It is scary. Okay, if you've ever worked at night in a building by yourself, and all you have with you is your thoughts and loneliness, like, your mind's gonna play all kind of crazy tricks on you. You're gonna hear noises. You're gonna make out noises of the guy at the cemetery, and he's going there, and he's checking around, and he hears voices. Like, that is scary. Like, I've never been in a place where I was like, oh my God, okay. Like, that is scary. Like, that's why working nights is so, like, for me, working nights is scary. Um I've never I've never ever, seen, encountered like spirits, but I know they're there, you know. Um I've seen some weird stuff, man. Um it's just it's crazy. And you think like, we're expecting to see um, you know, we're not expecting to see any paranormal stuff, right? We're not expecting to see, some ghosts or some silhouette of a person. We usually see crackheads in there. Hey, get out of here. Smoking crack. And a lot of times when there's nobody in there, you hear noises. It's scary. So if you guys ask me, Eric, what is it like working nighttime? What was it like? How's it feel? I'm gonna say it's very boring, and sometimes it can be a little spooky, a little scary. Um, especially a lot of times you when you're on shift and you're just in an abandoned building and you're just supposed to be present there, and you have no other tasks to complete. You have really nothing else to do besides walk around every hour. You're going to you might hear when you're sitting in silence, you might hear noises. You might hear creaks. You might hear, I don't know, just some weird noise. You might hear someone screaming. I don't know. Um, but I see that a lot of people, I was going through the internet, and there's so many people that have experienced paranormal encounters where they didn't realize what they saw until they left. And it had one guy out in Venezuela. Excuse me, I didn't say it right. But he's talking to a person that's not even there. And I thought to myself, this guy's definitely got to be on crack. This guy's definitely high on meth. He's talking to himself. Okay. But no, he talked to someone. He wrote her name in to check in. A lot of times when you're at a hospital, where at security guards, you have to check in with the security guard. Security guard writes your name down, and the security guard wrote this lady's name down. And then when they then the next day they looked, he told them like what happened, and they looked the person up and said this person died. Like, how was it crazy? How was it that he was able to get all the names? Like, he was able to write this lady's name down and it to be a patient that passed away in that hospital. There's no way. Um, and I think like there's so many spooky tales from security guards who work night shifts, and a lot of them are really diverse, and they're not all the same. Um, and anyone who works graveyard shift, when it's dark and it's quiet and it's little foreboding, it might be you might be more prone to having like weird work encounters. Um, and we security guards and even prison guards, we get the double whammy because we're in charge to look at all this weird stuff that's going on. Like, we have to investigate every noise. We have to walk around to make sure that no one's inside the building. And that's scary. That's freaky. So I'm gonna go over a couple of Reddits, of a couple of stories that have taken place. I won't bore you with too many of them. Okay, so I'm gonna give you guys a story here. This story is a security guard that worked at he worked the third shift at a long-term care facility for retired nurses and priests in Ohio. Now that's freaky. Okay, retired priests and nuns in Ohio. Yeah, I'm already scared. The security guard would explain that he would only have his desk light on in between rounds, and he would often spend his nights reading. One night after his second round, he looked up to see one of the sisters who rarely got out of bed, and let alone speak, had dementia. Was standing in front of her nightgown, directly in front of her door, pointing out the window in the common room the security guard was in, and she started screaming, Omega! Omega! Wow. He said it was 24 at the time and straight up almost crapped his pants. And there's really no way to describe the sound. It was something serious, some next level, Silent Hill, never sleep again stuff. That's how he described it. One of the nurses came over and helped her back to bed. And when she came back out, she must have seen my face. She politely told me Omega was her sister's name. And it was a solid 2 hours later when I finally got calmed down enough to ask myself, who names her kid Omega? That's a good one. Okay. Here's another one. So back in the 1980s, this guy worked as a security guard to pay for college, and he got put at a closed hospital. That's freaky. It was about 20 floors, and they wanted you to walk each floor at the start and the middle of each shift, which took about 2.5 hours. And it was like the set of one of the old horror movies. Scary. Most of the lights didn't work and the ceiling tiles were hanging down all over the place. It was still full of unwanted equipment since it was winter and the steam heat was on. There was noises on each floor. Scary. One night, I was on the 15th floor and heard a loud crash down one of the side corridors that freaked me out. Turned out a pipe in the ceiling was leaking and 10 ceiling tiles all let go at the same time. Probably the creepiest was walking through the 18th floor because it had all tiled operating floors that had observation windows around the top, and all the operating tables and other equipment were still there. I only went to the 20th floor one time. I didn't know if they had cancer treatments there or what. When I walked through, there were boxes with radiation symbols, so I just decided the 19th floor was good enough. Was that creepy or what? Okay. And the last one, this was not long. And this is another security guard. He worked nights at a hotel, so he's seen some stuff. Okay. He had one guy come and stare at him. He didn't blink. He said nothing. He just stared. He asked if he can help him like 3 times, but every time nothing. Eventually his friend came in, grabbed him by his shoulder, ushered him out of the door, and apologized to me. I had to get on the closed circuit television afterwards to make sure I wasn't suffering from sleep deprivation, because that happens when we work nights. Either way, the guy was tripping or just a weird guy. Either way, I'll never know. Yeah, it wasn't that scary. But you never know. I mean, sometimes you're in places and something just takes over. I don't know. I'll just try to play devil's advocate here. And one last one. All right. Here's a kicker. In the winter, we got homeless people sleeping in our stairwells. So I'd have to kick them out. One time I went down and something leaped at me. I went, phew, just a cat. Then I remembered the horror movie trope and realized that the real scare is coming up next. So I skipped checking stairwells at night, or that particular night. So I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on out there. You know, I do believe that there is paranormal things that go on that haunt us at night. And as you know, we work nights. You know, we do encounter weird things at night. We see weird things, and sometimes it's our imagination playing with us. Sometimes our sleep deprivation. Sometimes it's just, maybe it is really something. And unfortunately, a lot of places we work, we get stuck in working these old abandoned buildings that will never probably get sold. And we're sitting there working there years on out, and the contract just never ends. It just keeps renewing over and over and over. You're like, gosh dang, when is it going to end? So I don't know what you guys think. If you guys have ever had any encounters on the job when you guys working night shift, I'd love to hear you guys' comments. I love to to hear, that, hey, I'm not the only guy that's seen some weird stuff. Or these people on here that they're not just talking out of their butts. That there's stuff that really does happen. Like I'm a advocate for that paranormal activity. I believe that there are spirits, even biblically, they're saying that there are spirits out there. So I mean, as a Christian man, there's definitely some spirits out there. You gotta choose which ones to pay mind to, which ones not to, and sometimes you just gotta ignore and just pay attention. Like, hey, get away from here, get away from me, little devil man. But this is crazy, man. This is cool. I wanted to talk a little bit about the night shift, and it's perfect time for Halloween. If you guys are out there celebrating, please be safe. And please make sure you guys check your candy and make sure that no one put any needles inside of your candies and all this fun stuff. And don't take apples, okay? Don't take fruit, because they could drug them and drug you. So yeah. Anyway, guys, this is real. I thought this would be a fun little Halloween thing, and kind of get you guys a little riled up, and also be have an opportunity to hear some of your guys' stories. Anyway, guys, if you guys have any questions or concerns, you guys can find us on Night's Watch Patrol on Instagram, and you guys can go check out the LinkedIn, where it shows that we are pretty much all over the place. So check out our website. You can check our other social medias. Like, comment, share. You guys can also like and share and comment on this podcast here, and also follow us on YouTube. And I will be providing you guys with all the updates involving security. And happy Halloween, and be safe. And if you guys are working, have fun. I'll be working. So love God, love each other. Let's go change the world.
Watching you, watching me, and it's plain to see that you